Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Barbed Wire Bite. We were off last week for the holidays. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas?
I had a great Christmas. I hope everybody else had a good one. Pretty good, quiet, lay low. You know what I mean?
You had the big convention we'd been talking about in Philly. The big,
yeah. I didn't get to see the show, but I heard it was great. And they're coming back March 26th again with another show.
yeah, Onita versus Bubba Dudley.
Yeah, because Bubba Ray was there. I seen him. I did see Devon. I said hello to Devon. I got to talk to him. I talked to Shane Douglas. I ran into Barbarian, the Warlord. I seen them. Raven. Shit, even the Sandman was there. Everybody was there. Todd Gordon was there. It was pretty cool. My table, I had Devin Moore, one of the deathmatch kids, who was one of my students. I didn't even realize how small he was. He was always small, but he got a little bit bigger. So now he's like kicking ass. It's pretty cool. So, and Angel Orsini, I think her name was. She was with us at our table. So it was pretty cool.
Ronnie there, our #1 fan. He said he came to say hi to you.
He did come by, man. That was cool. He's like, yeah, I work with him now, man. He's cool, man. He's cool, man. He was putting you over like Rover. He was. He was happy. He's happy.
I'm going to have to get out to one of them one day, hopefully after this pandemic clears up.
Yeah, I'll let you. There's something's coming up soon that's going to be special. And it's going to be like ECW special. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be more that side. I'll let you know. I think that's the one you should come to, because that's the one you're going to have the most fun of.
Why would they book Onita versus, well, it's not Bubba anymore, it's Bully Ray? Why would you? I mean, and people are like really excited. Bubba's not really a deathmatch wrestler. And
I personally would.
Old.
They should have booked me versus Onita. I mean, come on. It's not like I wasn't in the ring with him before. I worked for FMW. You know, I don't know how long Bubba worked for FMW.
Did he work for him, or was he just on that one tour?
I think he just did the one show. I mean, I did the takeover of FMW, and that was a totally different thing. That's when Jason the Terrible was there. Doug Gilbert was Freddy Krueger. Leatherface wasn't Tony Myers, that is it now. It was the guy from Canada.
I was just going to say the other Leatherface last week, Corporal Kirshner, passed away. Young age, just in his 60s too, I believe.
Yeah, he was the Leatherface when I was there, you know, and he was the one. So then he must have been the one that got in trouble with over there. Is that what happened?
I can't remember. I kind of knew him from his WWE run when they needed a new Sergeant Slaughter. I'd seen him live a few times.
He wasn't in WCW?
I don't think so. I might have been. I don't know. Everybody, we can look. Everybody changes.
I remember when I was in Japan the first time, they told me, like, you can't get in trouble. You know what I mean? Don't like break the laws. Don't do something stupid. And especially don't hit a civilian or somebody like that. That's a big no-no. And somebody hit somebody, and it was an American wrestler, and he had to do 2 years in prison.
Corporal Kirshner worked in WWE, then he went to Stampede, had a little run. His name was Penzel. He had a run in New Japan. That's when he became Leatherface. Worked for Quionis and Wing. Worked for IWA. Had his run in FMW, and nope, he retired in 2004. He revived Leatherface in a return match to team with Jason Voorhees to fight Madman Pondo and Necro Butcher. It looks like he did a little bit of shit at the very end there with the Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, cool.
Have a hepatitis shot if you go to an Insane Clown Posse wrestling show. It's about the advice I can give any fan that's never been to that AIDS fest.
They call it, I think they call it shit pro
champion shit wrestling.
Champion shit wrestling. And
oh my God.
Here, I'll tell you a quick story. They came to work. They were doing something with 3P ACW, I think, and this was after we were doing something else. It was 3PW, and we brought them in to do something. And they wanted us to bring 3, because we had a tag, we were like grooming tag teams pretty much. We had a tag team tournament we put on. It was the Pitbulls Public Enemy Tag Team Tournament. So the biggest tag teams around, we got to come to this. And if they wanted to do it, they could do it. So we had All Money's Legal, the SATs, the Briscoes, among other tag teams that were there. Okay. It ended up coming down to All Money's Legal ended up winning it all. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? And you think, you sit back and you think, you know, look at the Briscoes now. You know, the SATs are just coming back. They invented the Spanish fly. They were the first guys to come off that top rope with that Spanish fly. You know what I mean? They were, you know, they're good kids, man. And yeah, when it comes to high flying, man, they're the first ones that brought that shit back. A tag team, what was I talking about?
The Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
I remember they were at the ECW at one of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, they did one with us. So then I had to bring SATs I brought with me and All Money's Legal I brought with me. And it was me. So I was like the chaperone because these guys were so young. They were not even 20 yet. Or, you know, they were young. We went to their concert, watched the concert. Concert's done. I'm like, damn, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, man. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm ready for bed. Come to find out, they go, all right, go out back, jump on the bus. So we jump on the tour bus. So Joe jumps down, Shaggy's in there, you know, he's got his own bus. I'm in Joe's bus. Stick wrestling tapes in, they have their TV right up front. He starts rolling up some joints, you know, laughing, chilling. I'm like, where the fuck we going, man? He's like, oh, we're going to the after party, man. I'm like, the after party? He's like, yeah, that's where we're going to wrestle. I said, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, man, right now. He goes, oh, yeah, we do it at like 5 in the morning. We'll go all night. It's a party, man. It'll be packed. Dude, it was jammed. There had to be 4,000, 5,000 people there. It was right in the middle of Detroit. I mean, it was like there. It was their people. And he looks at me and goes, just wanted to let you know, Scott Steiner got laughed out of his building. He rolled. He walked right out. He said, fuck you, and left. I said, okay. I said, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I'm thinking, and I said that, and he didn't say nothing. So I automatically figured what that meant is that I'm going to set you up for failure. Well, you're going to walk out. They're going to laugh you out of the building. They're our people. I'm like, okay. So it's 3:30 now. I'm dressed and ready to go. They hit my music. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm first. I'm the baby face. Why am I going out first? I said, what are you doing? They said, now you're making it even harder for me. So I grabbed this kid I'm working with, and he was the Richie Rich, he was called. Okay, that was his gimmick. He was fucking so talented, bro. I'm telling you, if he would have stayed the course, he would have made it. I'm not bullshitting you. He had a butler with him and everything. So I said, listen to me, and listen to fucking, you better listen to me. As soon as you fucking go out, you start on them people like you never did before in your life. Because when I went out, I fucking put my head down. I didn't say shit to nobody, man. People were going, fuck you, here and there, you know, where they were chanting ECW. I didn't fucking, I know sold it all because I didn't want to give any reaction. They hit his music. He came out, fuck you. Stop, let me fix my hair. You know, he's drinking his tea. They fucking shit on him so bad that he got so much heat, bro. I turned around and just raised my hand. The place popped like a motherfucker. And I remember I seen him sitting back there watching. I looked at him. I said, yeah, I don't think they're laughing me out of the building tonight, brother. It's happening. We did 20 minutes and rolled, dude. Awesome match. Place went crazy. Chanted Pitbull the whole fucking way in, the whole fucking way out. That's how it went. So I proved them wrong. And then they put their two, it was a 4-way tag. They had 2 tag teams, and I brought the other 2 tag teams. And they had it was a Halloween, because it was Halloween Wicked Ween, it was called. That was their concert. It was during Halloween. and they had all the pumpkins in the ring, and they did all this crazy shit. But it was cool because we all went to the same hotel afterwards. You got the whole entire hotel is full of juggalos, from the first floor to the fucking last room available. And every room, every tub is full of beers. They pack them with those 40 Budweisers. Everybody walks room to room. Everybody has a good time, you know. And at first, I was like, you know, they're cool. I get it, you know. But I said, man, what about, you know, I don't want nobody fucking with my bags, man. You know, I got to go to the airport and I go through TSA and some fucking weird shit happens. And they put something in my bag. What's going to happen? I remember Corporal Robinson grabbed me. He said, listen, I'm telling you, bro, when they say we are family, we are family. We will not, nobody will fuck with your shit. Number one, they know what's going to happen to them if they did. And number two, it's against all rules. You just don't do it. And after that, I was just like, okay. And I watched how they acted, and they respected everything. So that was a nice trip. I had a good time on that.
You know, it's been making the rounds on the message boards that I advertise on all the ECW groups. Everybody wants to know, maybe you have a little insight why a guy who apparently has heat with me, Vampiro, sorry, Vamp, you made a shitty documentary about your life. Why everyone wants to know why Paul Heyman didn't bring him in the ICP and the ECW. Everybody says they missed the boat with that. Would the ECW crowd would they've gotten over with them?
Well, they came. I remember Joe and Shaggy came to work for ECW without Vampiro.
Yeah, everybody says Vamp should have been in ECW. I personally don't see it. That's not because I dislike him. I don't know if that gimmick would have worked over there. Canadian Vampire. It was kind of corny for that company.
Yeah, but wasn't he over in Mexico?
He was.
That was his spot, Mexico. He was like Conan. He was like a Hogan there, you know, and then he got to the point where, oh, I want to make more money. So he jumped ship because he knew the Juggalos had cash. Come on, they're the Insane Clown Posse. I can't imagine what they paid him.
He had so much heat with people. I mean, like, come on, Chris Jericho, who doesn't have a bad word to say about most people, hates his guts. John Hannigan don't like him. Conan had heat with him. Sting and him hate each other.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I met him back then, and he was kind of a dick. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Back then, because I remember we were done the ECW show, and the Insane Clown Posse was in town, Philadelphia, and they were doing a concert. And me, Raven, Hack, Anthony, a bunch of us went backstage and hung out with them while they had the concert, you know, and Vampiro was there. And I remember Vampiro, like, you know, Raven wanted to introduce me to him, me and Anthony, and he could care less. He was just more like, you know, fuck you guys. Who the fuck are you? I'm like, who the fuck are you? That's what I'm saying. You're in my town, motherfucker. What do you mean, who the fuck am I? You're in Philadelphia. You're going to be under the fucking Walt Whitman Bridge. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what the fuck? And when you know it, this past weekend in Philly, Buff Bagwell, who was nice as can be, nicest guy to me he was, and him was sitting right behind me or next to me. Didn't even say a word there. Didn't say a word.
Buff didn't say.
I was in Allentown, and he was right next to me. And I put my sign up, and I sat right down, and we were pretty much back to back. So I was waiting for him to say, like, "Can you move your bag for me so I have a little bit more room?" And he didn't say shit. He didn't say nothing. So I was just like, okay, you know, you don't even say hello. You know?
How did Buff look? Because I've seen video of him recently, and he doesn't look too pretty good on some of those videos.
No, he's fucked up. Something, I don't know if it's foot or his knee or something's fucked up, because he had a cane, like a crutch. He had one crutch. I mean, he didn't, I'm going to be perfectly fucking honest. He was perfectly straight. He wasn't fucked up, because we were having a conversation. He asked me if I could move my bag. I had so much shit I brought, I didn't know what to put up. You know, because I put up a Roberto's jacket I was selling. I was going to sell my first jacket I ever got in Japan from the state shop. You know, and I have a picture of me with Tiger Jet Singh, with Yokozuna, with Brian Blair, and my partner. in front of the Tokyo Palace. So it's legitimized. That's an earned fucking jacket. So I was going to sell that. So I hung that up. And like I said, Buff asked if I could move it. And I moved it. We started talking, shooting the shit. We were just talking about surgeries and shit. And yeah, he said something happened. I think somebody fucked up something. They were trying to fix something and they fucked it up.
Yeah, I never got how he I mean, he must have been part of the good old boy in WCW. I mean, he had that job from, you know what?
Because
God,
I can
15
tell,
something years he sat there.
you know why? I can tell you why. He's personable and you could talk to him. Even if he don't like you, he'll make you think he likes you. You understand? It's a politic game we're in here. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, man. There's people that probably come up to me and say hello and then say I'm an asshole behind my back. You know, and there's a ton of them that are stabbing me right in the fucking side right now. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck. I hang from that wall. There's only a few of us. They only switch 9 up every show. They change all 9, put all 9 different ones up. I'm up there. If you're not up there,
Todd's up there, isn't he?
Who?
Todd is up there, isn't
Fuck
he?
yeah, Todd's
But
guy.
But is Paul?
I don't think Paul's up there.
I always knew Todd had the banner, but I never heard that Paul had one. I thought that was funny.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, and that's very surprising. That just shows me. That shows me he must have did something to piss the guy off that runs the building. You know what I mean? Because when he started working for Vince, I mean, you can't tell me that Paul couldn't sit down with Vince and say, yo, let's do some fucking crazy show at the arena. I mean, we'll charge $500 a ticket. You can only get 1,500 seats in there. That's it. You know, we'll make it a one-night event, one time only. You got to pay this much money, and this is what you're going to get. They probably would have pulled it off, but that's something that Paul wouldn't do. You see what I'm saying? Like, I would have did that. If I was Paul Heyman, I would have said, look, look, sir, you got this building, which we will, the ECW already packs it, okay? And they're charging, what, $25, $30 a ticket we were charging. I think later on we got up in the 70s eventually. But regardless, I you know what I mean? You charge them 500, man. You got 1,500 seats. Come on. Cost what, a couple grand to rent the building? But Vince wouldn't.
WWE charges over $1,000 for front row seats at house shows. You can get $500 for a show very easily.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I heard they were charging them like nosebleed seats for WrestleMania was like $600 or something like that.
So they just ran that show at Madison Square Garden over the weekend. That they didn't even have that thing half full. I mean, that's
who was that?
I think that it was a house show though. I think Kevin Owens was in the main event. No disrespect, I like him, but yeah, there was pictures of the building. It was not even close to full. AEW appears to be selling live arena tickets better. They're also a lot cheaper. I heard a front row to AEW is under $100. So
it is.
I mean, and they give you let me ask you, AEW. Hook had his second match on Christmas, and he fought that big Bear Bronson, fans, if you didn't see it. Big guy. This big guy, he had about 200 pounds on Hook. Gives Hook the big Michinoku pile driver. Hook just does the no sells it, sits right up. I thought that was kind of, but the crowd loves the kid, but it reminded me when Taz no sold 911. It was the exact same mannerism.
Yeah, well, that's Taz talking in his ear when he should be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not honorable. Be a little bit, pay your dues a little bit. You know what I mean? Work a little bit. That's your fucking second match. And they put him against a giant. Come on. He can't. How do you think he sold?
He didn't. I mean, now, if you're Brian Cage, and I'm using Brian Cage's example, Brian Cage, 300-pound individual, he can no sell a power bomb. Hook's not even 200 pounds. He's in good shape. Don't get me wrong, but
he's still
what 180, 190 at best.
How old is he?
20 something, real young kid. Nice hair though. I'm
That's
jealous.
what I'm saying. He's right now. See, this is like people arguing over what's what. Like I would say, no, I want him to grow. I want him to learn. And then eventually when he does sit up, he'll be like 4 years older and he'll have 4 more years experience and he'll be able to tell a story better instead of him doing it now. So he looks great in front of all his friends now because he's over and his town loves him and his wrestling jiu-jitsu school and his other schools are marking out for him.
Because I remember when 911 choke slammed Taz and everybody thought that was the end, and Taz just got same way the no sell. Taz had also been doing that that was well into his heel turn, you know. I mean, yeah, it wasn't his second match.
No, he never wanted to sell anything. Like, honestly, he didn't want to sell them. So you have to, as of me working against him, I would have to think of things. What can I do that's going to make him sell? And he can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? So I would put him up on the top rope. I'd jump on the second, hit him with a round kick. His job is to take a bump off the top rope, onto the fucking apron, onto the ground. You're going to do that. I'm making them work now, so you're going to sell. Now I got you outside. I'll make you sell more outside. You're barefoot. I'm going to stomp your feet, and then I'm going to throw you into the guardrail. That's how I used to work with him. When he would grab me, it was always suplex time. You know, we did it. I had my own suplexes, don't get me wrong, but he would always suplex this, always suplex that. And he would always throw me on my head. I remember he'd give me that half Nelson over the back belly, and I would go with it. You know what I mean? I'd try to work with him, but I don't know if I was taking it wrong or he just wasn't getting me all the way over because we were both kind of the same height.
And Taz is not very tall.
I'm only 5'9", and I think I was taller than him.
Yeah, I remember and I was a mark for him. I'm no shame in it. I was a mark. When he came to WWE and he beat Angle, I marked out. And then when they put him with Jerry Lawler and Lawler looked at him and went, I got socks taller than you. That was when his push died. And even in me too, it was like, you know, this guy's a fucking midget. Even when Rhino came to WWE, it was like, this guy's little, and it really did. That was the end of Taz. Taz, I think Taz is a great commentator. He should be in that booth as the heel play-by-play guy every week. I think
absolutely
that's his calling to me.
Yeah, now I'm not saying anything bad as far as like we did the loop. I mean, I did the loop with him. I had I think 2 big ones with him. One by myself, and then another one with my partner and him, and I was in the corner. But as far as angles are concerned, we ran like 2 big storylines that were in pay-per-views. So the first one, he wasn't even Taz yet. He was the Tasmanian Devil. He was doing that.
With that weird haircut.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we started off, I didn't even realize this. We started off with in our match in the 6-man, it was Superfly Jimmy Snuka and the Pitbulls versus the Funk Brothers and Tommy Dreamer. During the match, the Pitbulls fucked up. The guy ducked the clothesline and we hit Jimmy Snuka by accident. We won the match and we skated. Funk Brothers and all these other guys jumped on Jimmy Snuka. Taz came in and made the save, which then put them in as a tag team. So I remember watching the show and I was like, fuck, I don't even remember that. You know, because what happened was after the match, I came in with a chair and I nailed Jimmy Snuka in the back with the chair. Forgot all about that. And I'm like, I hit Uncle Jimmy. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, Taz cleaned house, got over as a face, tug up with him, and then the next match, the big show, was going to be Pitbulls versus Jimmy Snuka and Taz. So I've worked him millions of times in different angles. When I was by myself, I was a television champion at that point. I won the belt, and he was doing an angle with me with that. He couldn't beat me. I beat him 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. Mikey Whipwreck beat me for my television belt.
I remember that.
Yeah, Taz
Taz
interfered.
interfered.
He interfered, and which kept our angle going, me and Taz. And then there becomes Mikey Whipwreck.
Was he at the
First belt he ever had.
Was he at the convention?
No,
I heard he doesn't like to do anything in public anymore.
he's giving that shit up.
Did he retire completely from wrestling?
Yeah, he's. I didn't realize Mikey was a very sensitive person.
Yeah, he said he was tired of people making fun of all the weight he gained. It happens to the best.
I mean,
of
it
us.
happens to everybody. You know what I mean? Fuck. Screw you.
When he was wrestling ECW, he was a kid.
He was the ring crew guy.
I mean,
Listen, you're not even saying anything about me. Think about me. Paul comes up to me, he puts his arm around me and says, listen, you're gonna do me a favor tonight. We're gonna make somebody. And I'm like, oh man. I said, okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna make this kid called Mikey Whipwreck. I said, the guy that comes out to loser, baby. He's like, yeah. I said, what do you have in mind? Because we give him the belt. I said, fuck yeah, man. I said, all right, let's do that. How do you want to do it? What are you thinking about doing? He's like, well, you get with Taz and figure out a spot, and we're gonna put this fucking kid over. We're gonna make him. He don't want the belt, but he's gonna get it, and that's what the gimmick's gonna be like every time. You can have the belt.
Yeah, he was always trying to give it back.
Then he becomes tag team. Then he becomes tag team partners with Cactus Jack, and then he becomes. Did he become the heavyweight champion?
Yeah, when he beat Hack for the heavyweight title, that's to me when it ended, because that took away the gimmick. Now he's the heavyweight champ. He's winning this in it's like gimmick's done.
They should have waited a long time for that, because like I said, he was the tag champs there. I remember that. But yeah, I was down for it, man. I said, I'll do it. You know, Anthony's getting ready to come in. I said, it's perfect timing. I'll drop it to him. I have no problem with that, man. No problem.
Should he got a WCW deal for the 2 years he was there. I think he worked 4 times, but like he got some WCW money.
Oh yeah, he was home. He sat home and collected checks.
Yeah, I think he wrestled like 3 or 4 matches. That was it. You can't be. Hack only had a handful too.
Yeah, Hack's gimmick was good.
I liked Raven was on TV every week. I'll give Raven credit. He worked his ass off there.
Because Raven came up with that shit. Raven was sitting there writing that shit every day and night in his mind, or on a piece of napkin if he's at a bar, or if he's home, he's got a notebook. I actually had the guy that's doing my documentary, me and Anthony's, it's called The True Story of the Pitbulls. He told me, get a book and put it right next to you, because you got some good one-liners, man. Just write one, if you say it, write it down. And that's how fucking Raven is. He thinks of stuff that's mind-boggling. You know what I mean? After you think about it, like you're like, damn, that is a good idea.
Do you think, let's say Raven never came to ECW, would Tommy Dreamer have gotten over without him? Because he sure didn't get over before him.
No, I mean, even with Hack, he had a nice gimmick with Hack, but a nice run with Hack. But nah, man, that Raven run, I mean, I feel next to me and Shane Douglas's, with my neck being broke and the halo and throwing me down, that angle and Raven and Tommy Dreamer is like, they're the biggest angles there.
Oh, I love I didn't give a shit about Dreamer. I remember when he blinded Hack and all that. I was with the rest of the crowd. Fuck you, Dreamer. We want the Sandman. You know, he was cool. And then yeah, once he started fighting Raven, he pile drove Beulah. That's when I was like, okay, this guy's pretty cool, because he was just killing himself in every match.
He would literally, like, if I'm working him that night, like he would work with us. He would always jump in with me and Anthony. Like if it wasn't like that time early in his career, he was still green. I mean, they were putting him with the Funks. You know, that's great, you know, working with them. Come on now. So I guess more and more he realized, you know, old school style, I'm gonna fucking just die. Let them kill me. Let the people fucking be like, oh my God, but I make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? And literally he lost, I think, every match he ever had.
Yeah, Raven beat him for what, 3 or 4 years straight.
He told me a story. He said, me and Taz went down to USWA, I think, where everybody goes. I mean, me and Anthony were there. We were in a stud stable when we were there. You can look it up. But we looked big, though, and we were kids. But we were the only guys that actually worked out, you know, at that point coming up. The Hardy Boys looked like, oh my God, they were like 130 pounds, maybe, each of them. Very, very tiny. And they were there like right after us. And I was just like, whoa, you can see the difference. But yeah, Tommy says, yeah, we went down here to work and you know, they told me to tell Taz he's got to put so and so over, and Taz is like, I ain't doing that. He's like, what do you mean you're not doing that? Tommy said this, that like, look, Taz, this is how the business is. You win some, you lose some. You're a heel, you're gonna fucking lose. You know what I mean? We're green. We're getting experience. But he didn't want to do it until the promoter actually sat him down and explained to him what the situation is. And he had no problem putting him over then. But he always had a problem putting people over, you know.
See, I think what people don't get, like, because everybody, I mean, the Sandman is basically, he was the iconic ECW guy everybody remembers. Go back and watch on the network or on your tapes. I did. The Sandman did not win a match for 2 years. He fucking jobbed out to a Raven in tag matches. But he was over. No one noticed. He'd come back later night. He'd cane people. Nobody remembered that he was losing every week.
Because right after that match, something would happen that would make you forget that he got pinned. And you just can't wait to see him work the next week against that next person. That's what they did, because I watched the same thing. It was like, yeah, we lost, but they don't remember us losing. They remember me knocking Jimmy Snuka down on his ass and beating his ass with a chair. That's what they remember. So it was pretty cool. So that's, you know, you trick the crowd that way, you know. AEW does it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Orange Cassidy, he'll lose a match, but you'll forget about it because after the match, you got the Good Brothers, you got all these other people coming in and doing angles. You forget what happens, put it that way. That's how I look at it.
You know, I'm an Orange Mark. And
Yeah.
my son is a huge Orange Mark. I'm starting to think Orange does not need to be on TV every single week. I think you need
I
to
don't think
pull
he
him back
does.
a little bit.
I think I think they're giving us too much of him. I think you should be like, yo, also Aleister Black's another one. I think they should be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Save him for some pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? They don't need like, I don't honestly see the Young Bucks, they may be on the show, but they're not wrestling every week.
Yeah. MJF
Okay.
wrestles maybe 2 or 3 times a year on TV, but you see him every week running his mouth. He's like, that's like a big deal when he was going to team up. And it was so old school when every time Punk would come in, he'd run and he wouldn't do it. And he had that crowd work perfectly. FTR did everything in that match.
I was surprised.
Actually, Sting looks really good for his age. For being 1 year older than Arn Anderson, Sting looks amazing.
As long as his knees are good. Yeah.
Poor Arn falls off ramps.
Yeah, he's got that belly, man. If he loses that belly, he'll be all right. He's been eating too good.
You know, though he always kind of had, even when he was younger, so to speak, like in the 80s, he was still a bigger, him and Tully, he's still not fat, but he was a bigger guy. He wasn't a
big dude. No, I consider them
dude.
big men. I'd call them big men. Like they weren't muscle bound men, but they were just big farm. They had farm strength. You know what I mean? Like he gave me a spine buster once. Best spine buster anybody ever gave me. Beautiful. But I could feel the power. You know what I mean? And the technique, how he did it, and how he just took my body where he wanted to put it. You know what I mean? And that's when I realized, now I know why they call me Enforcer. Fucker strong.
I liked him and Tully were good. Tully was like the first, to me anyway, going back, showing my age, my opinion, the first cool heel. Because you know he was the bad guy, but he had Baby, and I thought Baby Doll was fucking hot, even though she was a foot and a half taller than him. He's got the girl, and he's wearing the Rolex. He's got the pinky ring, and he's just an asshole. But he was just something about him was like, this guy's a bad guy, but he's just cool. I don't know that it just worked for him. Now, I mean, he don't look bad now. He's very thin now, but
Yeah, he's looking frail, but he's older. But maybe underneath that, he's in great shape. Who knows? You know what I mean? He still looks like he's moving around good. Like I said, I worked with them. And when we worked together with them in WWE, or F it was then, he's like, look, you start the match any way you want. Don't even tell me. How about that? Because I was like, you know, we're working together. We know how much time we have. It's TV. What can I get in? You know, what are you going to let me have so I look good? I don't want to, you know, to get something in. So he turned around, he looked at me, you know, and he's like, how about this? Since everybody else says you could do this, you could do that, whatever comes to your head, that's what I want you to do. That's what he told me. So we got, you know, we're already in the ring. They came out, they get the big boo shit, all that crazy stuff. They're introducing him. Once the announcer stepped out of the ring, his back was still to me. I ran across that ring as fast as I can and gave him a knee to the back. Shocked the shit out of him. I mean, he sold it. He went with it. I brought him in my corner, slammed his head. He was like, okay, you know, and then cut me right off with the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Bang, 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 did his shit, toe Arn in, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, spine buster, bang, done. You know what I mean? Me and my partner. It was fucking wicked. But we learned good. We learned from that. You know, yeah, it was a job match, but we were in the ring with the brain busters. I walked away with something from that.
Who do you think was the best seller in wrestling?
Ricky Steamboat.
I was gonna say Ricky Morton.
He's good too.
He made you, every time I saw Ricky Morton as a kid, I thought he was gonna die in that ring. You see them girls crying and everything. Steamboat was good too, you know, the way he'd lay there and sometimes he'd shake and all that. I thought RVD sold good too.
Macho Man sold pretty good too. Yeah, you know, it's like, I don't know, I'll sell different than other times. Better, you know what I mean? I can sell better if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I learned, one of the things I learned going to WWF is you can oversell. I learned that, like, that was like the first thing I learned, wrestling the hearts, is after, you know, you watch it, you say to yourself, okay, what he did was good, but I oversold that. You know, even though he formed me in my chest, I went like this, my feet went like that, and I seen him before I took the bump. That's how strong Anvil was. I did oversell stuff, and that's how you learn. You know, you watch your tapes. You know,
I thought Enzo and Cassaway still say AEW should hire. I thought he sold good, and I thought that was a great team. This little goofball, skinny guy runs his mouth. Big guy comes in, cleans house.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how people can't get along and just get it done. You know what I mean? Without having drama. I hate drama. You know what I mean?
I remember Scott Hall.
I wish to this day my partner was here, still alive, because we'd be working somewhere right now on TV. Absolutely. With our experience, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I remember somebody told Scott Hall he was an asshole, and he's like, I'm in this to make money, not friends. He said, this is the wrestling business, not the friend business. And he made money. And I actually thought Scott Hall was very talented. I really did think he was very good.
Yeah, good gimmick. Good gimmick. Gimmick was on. See, there's
pick, you know, like that. I mean, he could milk the camera. I would have loved to have seen him I'd love to have seen him and Shane have a good match. I mean, they, you know, I think they had too much heat between them to have one, but I bet that would have been a good match over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I know Shane was there for a little bit. Maybe they got heat with each other, and everybody's always trying to be the best friend, or everybody's always trying to be the booker's buddy. You know what I mean? So who knows? You know what I mean? There's always one guy out there that wants to make sure, So hi, Vince said hello.
I was excited when Shane came back to ECW at was that house party when he basically they WWE said you could keep him over the phone back there. I was glad to see him there because I got excited when he went to WWE. It's like I told my friend, I was like, wait till you see this guy's the franchise. There's some fucking school teacher with a chalkboard. I was like, okay. Then when he went back, I was like, okay, now watch this guy. He's really good. And he was very good over there.
Yeah, I mean, the gimmick, the franchise should have been used for Vince, period. I mean, he should have never even went to WCW. He should have never even been in ECW. He should have been there. That would have been over like Rover, man, if it would have started there. I mean, but I guess he had heat with people, and that's okay. That makes him for a better angle. You know what I'm saying? It does. But I don't know the whole story, but seeing him versus Hall, I don't know how that would be.
Now, Shane, you said was at the convention you were at.
Yes.
How's he looking now? I pictures I've seen of him. He looks pretty good.
He looks great. We had a great conversation. We actually filmed something for a documentary for the Pitbulls. He's doing good, man. I gotta say, he looks good, doing good. I'm gonna be on the road with him a lot this coming year. I'll be with him a lot.
How'd Hack look? I've seen he looks very thin.
Yes, he lost weight because he stopped drinking. So when he drinks is when Hack drinks is when he puts all that weight on. So when you ever see him with a big belly, you know he's been drinking. You know what I mean? And that's just the way he is. You can read him by his body, I lost 20 pounds. They're looking at me like scratching their head. Like, what the fuck? But I lost it in my stomach. So it actually got me some bookings, so that helped. But everybody's doing good. Ty Gordon's doing good. Raven's doing a project right now. I don't know if it's a book or a movie or something he's doing, but he was doing that while they were doing my documentary. So he was busy.
I emailed him a couple weeks ago. I was looking for a comic book and wanted to know if he had it. And he was honest. He's like, I think I do, but I don't know where it is. It's in storage somewhere. So he answered me, so I don't
if I would have kept my ex, they owned a comic store. Like they had the first Spider-Man, they had all of them, and the baseball cards. Like if I would have, oh my God, I could have had stuff for you that would blow your mind, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I sold a lot of stuff like 10, 15 years ago that's like quadrupled in money, and it's like, fuck.
Exactly. It's true.
But it's like stock. What's to say it won't plummet one day? I mean, I doubt it, but you don't know.
I think it'll come back up. It'll come back up eventually. You got a whole new generation or whatever you want to call it that will end up getting into it somehow.
I didn't realize how many wrestlers were comic book collectors.
A lot of guys are. One of my friends, he collects action figures, like the figures themselves, like all the Godzilla heels. And I'm like, that's odd, but that's what he does. So it's cool.
Well, I think if you're a wrestler, you're in traveling all the time. You could hit some amazing sites. I used to hear stories about Raven going to flea markets and shit looking for books.
Oh yeah, we would always do that shit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I went away, I always bought home something for my wife. Always, you know what I mean? And that was the fun about it. Or every time she knew I was coming home, it was like, "What am I getting? What am I getting?" What was surprised? What do you find that's cool that he can't get here? You know what I'm saying? So we would go look at flea markets. Were cool because you find stuff there that you ain't gonna find nowhere else. And number two, it's gonna be a good price.
Yeah.
So we didn't care, you know what I mean? And we would go to some nice ones that would sell brand new stuff. I guess out of the back of the truck. you want to say, or out the back door, you want to say. But
Yeah, I've done that a lot.
yeah, I mean, they would sell all kinds of stuff. We went to this one flea market. I remember me, Raven, Anthony. It was in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. This place, it was the whole course. They used to have a racehorse place there, and they shut it down. So they used the whole entire parking lot for a flea market, and they would be open on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's not old shit, like maybe 2 rows maybe used in old stuff, and all the other rows were like brand new shit, dude, that you could get cheap and at a good price and good quality, and it was cool. We cleared house there, man. Especially Public Enemy, because they would always buy their same outfits, you know what I mean? And most of the time they'd get brand new ones for every single TV, because they'd run right next door to the store, right next door to the arena. It was called Foreman Mills. They sold stuff like a shirt with an extra button.
Yeah. We got places like that here.
It
Yeah.
was like a defect place, I guess. So they'd go there and buy all their fucking gimmicks because they were going to bleed all over them anyway. So why spend all that money on a gimmick that you're going to end up ruining anyway, you know? And they'd wear it till it practically fall apart and then go buy brand new ones, you know? Until they got to WCW, that's when they made them their own jerseys and shit like that.
When they were the first time I watched DCW, I was watching it, but it wasn't like really marinate with me until I saw them. Those two were the ones that sold me. I have to watch more, because I had never seen 2 guys like that, you know, talented, good brawlers, but the way they ran their mouth, Rocco especially, was just so funny. And all they did was say stupid shit and get beeped. And I loved it. I couldn't get enough of those guys. That was my favorite team for I don't know how long. Then they went to WCW and it was like, oh, they stink.
Yeah.
They weren't programmed with anybody good though either.
No, and their gimmick was the table gimmick, you know, and they didn't. Deep down inside, they were still trying to bury them because they were from ECW.
Had I been like Eric Bischoff, I would have put them in a 2-year program with the Nasty Boys. That, to me, that'd be who I would have them work with, not work with Buff Bagwell and the Patriot and stuff like that, or Harlem Heat. They would work with the Nasty Boys and all those goofy like death matches, Texas death matches.
I did it. Fuck, I did it from 88, 89. Shit. 89 to 90, 91, 92, 93. I think we were working Nasty Boys. I mean, we did runs with them for fucking ever. Because we were there first, then they came. We were going to go to Vince, and then we decided to go to Japan. That was the only difference. And when we left there, the Hardys took our spot there. So they weren't even in yet. Yeah, Public Enemy took our spot. Because we changed our mind. We said they were going to go to Japan first.
And they got paid to sit home too. I remember I saw them the first few weeks I saw them, and then sporadically every couple months they pop up on a TV, or which was taped anyway. Or I remember they won the belts on like a Wednesday and they dropped them on a Saturday. But that was already, I think they had a couple runs there. I think they had a long time there.
They did time in WCW too. But those guys, like I said, they were one of the boys. They're one of the boys. Those guys. You know what I mean? I don't care how many people say they're dickheads and they don't like them. I worked with them. I had no problem working with them guys. They were cool to me. I had no problems. The only problem I had with them was they ribbed me once. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind getting a rib. I have no problem because I dish them out just as much as I take them. But they got me good, man. They got me and my partner good. They got icy hot and put in our trunks. And I'm talking pain, the pain, man. I couldn't, I thought my balls were going to pop, explode.
I bought a bottle of capsaicin, the shit with the chili pepper in it, and I needed it for my knee, and it worked, but I didn't wash my hands after I was done. I put out my knee. I went to the bathroom. Oh, you can't wash that shit out. You just got to suffer for about 4 hours. It's miserable.
Oh, man. Well, they got us with that. And I'm looking at my partner, we're looking at each other, and I said, "Are you feeling the same thing I'm feeling? Because I'm fucking balls are on fire, man." He's like, "What the fuck?" And we turn over and we look at both of them, and they're laughing, smiling. You know, they got us. My partner got mad, boy. He said, "Tag me in right now." I tagged him in, hot tag, scoops up knobs, throws them on his head. Scoops up sags, throws them on his head. All I hear is, "Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck?" Oh, they were pissed, boy. He tried to kill them. He could have broke their necks. He didn't. He was pissed, man. So that never happened again. Put it that way.
They were tough guys too, though. Actually, weren't they?
Yeah. I'm not saying they're not tough. They're tough.
They always kind of, if they got in a fight, there was always two of them. I've heard. So.
Sure. That's what tag teams are about, man. You're gonna fight one, you're gonna fight them both.
Ken Shamrock couldn't beat him.
No way. Not, but he was intoxicated. Extremely intoxicated.
Yeah, he still says he should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. It was like, you were there for a while, but you didn't do anything. You were just.
Well, what belt did he have there? I know he
had something. It wasn't heavy, maybe a US or an Intercontinental, not a long run, but he had something.
Yeah.
When I think Hall of Fame, I don't think Ken Shamrock. I do when I think of Ultimate Fighting, I think Ken Shamrock Hall of Fame, but not WWE, I don't.
Yeah.
And Ken's not very tall either. I met him. He's big, but he was not very tall. He was intimidating as hell, though.
I'm 5'9". He's got to be 5'10" and a half, maybe.
Yeah, he wasn't much taller than me, maybe a couple inches.
How tall are you?
Like 5'10" is all.
He might have been like 6 foot.
Big. I mean, very.
Oh, it's solid muscle.
Very enhanced.
Solid muscle, bro. Well, I mean, when I met him the first time, he was going back and forth to Japan, doing Pancrase and Pride. He was fighting. I mean, no bullshit fighting. Fucking fighting. And he'd go away for 2 weeks, fight a week, and come back. And then he'd be back on the road with us. And we were on the road 6 days a week. So I was out to breakfast. Me and him went out and ate breakfast one day. And I remember I was like, well, where are you going? Like, where have you been going? Like, you disappeared for 2 weeks. Where the hell did you go? He's like, "Oh, I went to Japan." I was like, "No shit." I said, "What do you do there?" He's like, "Fucking fight." You know? I go, "Get the fuck out of here." He's like, "Yeah, you can make good money." So I was interested. So he would tell me all about it. And he actually opened the door to get me and my partner to Japan, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew a lot of people. And they would ask him who's over there, what do they got over there, and he told them. And if they thought it was worth their while, they would send somebody down. And that's what they did. They sent Tokyo Joe down. And they liked me and Anthony. We were lucky. And New Japan was a hot item right there, bro. They were fucking selling out the dome, 65,000 people every fucking time they were in there. They would sell out the Sumo Palace, which held 42,000 plus 4 nights in a row. That's impressive. You know what I mean? And Hulk Hogan would come in for one match, one night, and leave with $800,000. Okay, I was in shit fucking shock. I was like, whoa. Because everybody's sitting around, we're partying after. We had a good show. Everybody made it safe. Nobody got fucked up. Nobody got hurt. Everybody got paid. You know, everybody's waving their $100 bills around. Because that's when you walk in the office, you got a table, you know, about this high, and it's stacked that high, full of $100 bills. Brand fucking new. They got your name on a list. They check it. That guy checks it. Another guy checks it. And then they check the money 3 times. And they take their brand fucking new $100 bills. And they pay us that. That's how they paid us. So back in the day, I wasn't making that much. I'd go for 2 weeks and bring home maybe 5 grand. Okay. When other guys were making 10 grand a week or 20 grand a week. And they would tell me, look, you got how much you got on you? I said, I got 5. Well, here's 4. Hold that for me. You don't have more than 10. They can't fuck with you. And they would go all to the young guys, like all the old timers, like $1 Million Man. I remember on the airplane, man, we're trying to strategize who's going to hold whose money. Because if you go through TSA and you go through customs and you got more than 10 G's on you, they're going to tax you for it. You know, even though we pay taxes in Japan, they're going to double whammy. And that's what they do. So back in the old days, that's what the old timers would do. Because I was one of their fucking donkeys. I remember they gave me fucking money at least five times I had brought back money for somebody else too.
Why don't they just put it in their shoe?
Because if you go through customs and they find a bunch of cash on you and they take you in that back room, that means everything's coming off. And then they find it, then it's worse because then they say they'll pull a charge where you're trying to hide it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to break the law.
I remember Bigelow said when he was going to go work in Japan that they flew out to him with like a briefcase. He said it had like, I was like $25,000, $30,000, all cash. They flew out to him to give it to him. And they're like, you know, you have to lose, do whatever. And he's like, I just looked at it, I was like, okay. You know, and he was on the plane like the next week. So
yeah, he was with Larry Sharp then. Because Larry Sharp managed us too. We came from the same place.
I like Bam Bam. Best, one of the best big men I've ever seen.
And the nicest guy in the world. I don't care what anybody says. He would have took his shirt off his back for you if you needed it. That's how he was. He don't get the full respect he deserves. And that's no joke. For a guy his size that can move the way he can move. I mean, he's 400 or 500 pounds of doing cartwheels, for God's sake, drop kicks. Not many people do that.
When I interviewed Lorenzo Lamas, Bam Bam was one of the bad guys in Snake Eater 3. And I asked him, I was like, what was it like working with Bam Bam? And it took him a minute. He's like, oh, Scott? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, and nothing but put him over good, nothing but good things to say about him. They were only on set for a little while together, but oh, he really liked him.
Dude, I'd work with him and he would set himself up to like, I'll be in the ring and he's beating the shit out of me and I'm selling. Next thing you know, man, he'll fucking hit me and say, power bomb me. And I'm like, what? So I'm selling, he climbs to the top. And all I got to do is go like this and grab him, power bomb his ass right off the top. That's how easy a worker he is. And that's the kind of bumps he would do for you, for being a guy that size. It was a pleasure working with him, man. I loved it.
He did the big heel. When he went from heel with $1 Million Man to the face, the turn they did here at the Raw I was at, and it was funny because that's when they would tape Raw 4 in a row, and he's coming down and like this, you know, and then they do the turn. Now about a half hour later, he's coming back out with a new outfit, new music, you know, for the next week. Hey, and all this, you know, it was just kind of funny to see. It was like, what the hell, you know, because you know, they had taped it, but he in person, he was like, he wasn't like a big fat guy. He was a big guy. I mean,
he was an athletic guy, period. Even though
he was graceful as shit.
Even though he was that big, he was still very athletic. He could play any sport.
I liked his head tattoo. I've thought about doing that, but
I talked to him a lot about that.
He said it hurt.
Yeah, I said, I said, listen, you know, I got some ink, you know what I mean, here and there. I said, you know, how did that feel in your head, you know? And he was like, dude, it hurt.
Because you're up here too, aren't you, a little bit?
Yeah, I'm all the way up the neck, and that's not even finished.
I stopped here, and that was not comfortable. I've never gone up higher.
Yeah, it's up, but I still have a couple more lines to do. It's not even done, and
shut up.
That was strange because I'm sitting there going,
The worst for me is when they did my feet.
Oh, fuck that.
That hurts so fucking bad. I like looking at it because I think it looks really cool, but the whole time, and it was maybe about 30 minutes is all for 30 minutes. I was just like hold my breath every
The
step
top
of
of
the
your
way.
foot, you did the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
foot, it's like a big cross that wraps around the ankle, and the rosary part of itself is on my foot. And yeah, that was just like, even when they did my stomach, when they got to the belly button, I was just like, fuck, like that.
Wow. Yeah, my friend did that. He put a skeleton foot on top of his foot. And he was a kickboxer, and that's why he did it. And he told me, he goes, it killed him. He said, dude, it hurt so bad. I would not recommend it. That's what he told me.
Now, when my wife, because she has a matching one, when they did her, she was just like this. Like it didn't bother her, but when they got to her ankle, she got lit up in so much pain where it was just weird. When they were doing my ankle, I cared less. They did my foot. I was like, fuck.
That's like, I asked the Bruise Brothers because they had so many tattoos all over
Shut
them.
up.
Even their stomach was tattooed. And they told me that the stomach to them hurt more than anything. You have so many nerves in your stomach too. So I don't know. Like they told me the back would hurt. It didn't hurt me. I didn't. But I was probably
Didn't bother me. I heard horror stories about the elbow. That didn't bother me at all.
No, that was good. I didn't get my elbow, but I got the top of the elbow.
Yeah, collarbone sucks.
What's
Chest
that?
isn't too bad. The collarbone sucked. My chest wasn't bad at all. It's just weird how certain people it bothers, certain people it don't.
Everybody's different. You know what I mean? I don't drink before. You know what I mean? Because that makes you bleed more. So
Yeah, I found that out once when I didn't eat anything and drank like a bunch of energy drinks, and they were working on my back. And then all at once I was like, I gotta go outside because I'm gonna black out here.
What was the longest you ever did without stopping?
7 hours.
I got you beat. 12 hours.
How long?
12 hours.
Oh, yeah, my top of my arm, I sat for like all of this. And by the end, I couldn't feel nothing. I was numb. And I remember the guy doing it had every like 2 minutes, he's like, that's when it was finally, it was like, okay, we got to stop. You're going to fuck this up.
Yeah, it's better to, Matter of fact, what he did was he went over, he did my part of my sleeve. And then he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go over it. So he went over it again. And he added gold to it. And that's what took so long, was because they have gold flake now that they put in your skin, which is fucking wicked. So
my new guy will only
mix that with the yellow.
See, my new guy won't do it all at once. It's outline. 3 weeks later, you go back for the color. He don't like to do anything more than like 2 hours. And when he was working on my leg, I'm like, come on, I can go longer than this. And he's like, I don't want to go.
I would say 4 hours. Like my forearm took 12, but it was 3 4-hour sessions. So they did the outline first, and there's so much detail. Just the muscles was one day. You know what I mean? Then the next day was the hair. And it took, like I said, 12 hours total, and I did 4, 4, 4. And then my boy fucking got up and rolled and moved to Los Angeles. He got a job on Sunset Strip doing fucking tattoos.
Yeah, I got half of my leg drawn, and then COVID hit. But I'll tell you, when he was in the back of my thigh and on my knee with that dragon outline, when he was in the back where you bend your knee,
shit,
that sucked. The kneecap wasn't good, but behind there where you bend, that was miserable.
That's sensitive, man.
And it's got to all get colored in too. That's what really.
That's like you go up to somebody and pinch their arm right in their tricep area. You know what I mean? That hurts like a motherfucker. But when they're tattooing it, it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Unless it's numb by then. You know what I'm saying?
He says when he gets up by like straight up by my groin, that's going to kill, like in between the thigh area there. Because I'm doing the whole left side of my body, like the Yakuza.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, so we're starting on the leg. And he's like, because his shin wasn't good. And he's like, oh, once I get up there by your balls, he's like, that's going to be miserable for you.
if you're gonna do it all, you better go to Japan.
What are you gonna do? Tell the guy to, what are you gonna do? Say stop, and they gotta finish.
Yeah, I made the mistake and got a little bit of ink in Japan. That, I mean, they did a good job, but they used the fucking bamboo and a little hammer.
Oh, I would always love to have that just so I could say I got it, but it looks like it's painful.
Dude, I was drunk and bang, I'm straight as an arrow, bro. And I'm looking around and I'm like, do you see what I'm looking at him through in the mirror, and I'm just gushing blood, man. I'm like, these, he's not even wiping it. You can still see through it. That's how good this guy was.
Where they do that. It
Dude.
looks cool though. Like I would want it just to
This
say I
guy was
had one.
going. That's how he was doing it. He would tap it like 4 or 5 times at once. Like, pop, 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 pop. It hurt like a motherfucker. And it was just, all I did was get initials. I got harder, stronger, lover, fighter.
But how cool is that to say you had one done like that?
It's cool because I experienced it. Like when I broke my neck, I got a chance to put a halo on my head. Man, that was fucking, I always looked at people and would be like, wow, man, I wonder what that feels like, and I got to really find out. So some things better left unknown. I'd rather have not found out what that felt like, put it that way. You know what I mean?
When I had my kidney removed, the doctor, was looking at me, I had the appointment beforehand, of course, and she was like, I'm going to have your tattoos on your stomach matched back up perfectly when I sew them. And I was like nervous as I was like, I don't give a fuck, I don't care if they're crooked or, I didn't care. And when I was actually more coherent off the morphine the next day and she came in, she was like, well, and then I finally actually looked and it was like, holy shit, like you can't see a single imperfection on it. She put it back together perfectly.
Well, that's what I was afraid of when I blew my bicep. They had to slice my arm here and my forearm. And that was the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I don't want you fucking up this tat, man. It's actually me. I don't want you to fuck it up. It's half man, half Pitbull, I said. Oh, shit.
That looks good.
And it goes all the way down with skulls. And I got a guy's head. I'm holding a guy by a head and this fucking skeletons hanging from it. It's pretty wicked. But
I was worried about the surgery, not the tat.
No, I said, I don't want you messing this up. I only got one little tiny scab on it. That's how good I took care of it. And he looked at it. It was like, I got it. Don't even worry about it. And now when you look at my arm, you see this S because he went around my tat for me and pulled my bicep back down and reattached it. And the guy was cool as hell. I mean, he was the best at what he does in Philadelphia at the time. I mean, I waited 3 weeks just to get an appointment to see the guy. And then he tells me, he's like, look, I can do you, but it's not going to be till like 2 weeks. I could fit you in 2 weeks. And back then I didn't even have insurance and they still did it for me. Okay, that's when America was America.
Mine got me in like 6 days because I was a nervous wreck and she wouldn't give me marijuana. So she just wanted to be done, I think, and get me out of there. But because that was like I was like, okay, when do I get the pot? And she's kind of looking at me, like, I'm very anxious. I'm very nervous. I'm going to need the prescription for the marijuana. I said, can you give me? I said, I can roll it myself, but I'm going to need some marijuana. They didn't give me any, but I tried.
And what were you going to take the marijuana for to make you relax?
Oh yeah, I was I was just like, I was crushing them Xanax and just like that, anything to just kind of stay calm. But yeah, she wouldn't give me any.
You didn't talk to, this is before your surgery?
Yeah.
See, I make friends with my my guy. I call him my bartender, the one that gives you the drip and puts you in your, I go right up to them, I shake hands, talk to him, I tell them my tolerance, and then I test them out and say, make me a little cocktail right now, and I'm gonna see how I feel, okay? And you'll see I'm still coherent. So he'll make me a little cocktail, put it in my IV, and you can feel it because it's like cold. You feel the cold. the rush. And it's like, all right, I'm still here, like I told you.
I just remember they were
You
like,
didn't believe me. And then I was lucky that I was awake because they're rolling me in the room. Okay. They're supposed to do my left knee. I got an X on my right knee. Okay. I'm like, whoa. As soon as we get in the room, the light hits me. I look down, I see an X. I'm like, whoa. And my doc, he did the Flyers, the Phillies, the Eagles, and he was really into MMA and shit like that. So he was cool. And he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, why is my right knee got an X on it when you're doing surgery on my fucking left knee? And he's like, oh shit. And he's like, thank God you were able to tell me this. And I looked at the anesthesiologist and I told him, I said, I told you. I said, I told you I'm cool. I just need to get leveled when you're bringing me in here. And then by the time you tell me to count backwards, by the time I hit 97, 96, I'm out.
yeah. I mean, like this table, we're putting you on the table. It's going to be real cold. It's like, okay. And the next thing I know, it's like 6 hours later.
Oh no, I feel them putting me down because they strap me down. Like they don't want me waking up. It's like you're a big guy. They strap you down. They strap your chest down. Your two straps are on your arms. Then another strap where your waist is because they don't want you, popping up out of surgery and freaking out and shit while they got your leg and knee open, especially a guy 200 something pounds winging his arms around. No, I don't blame them. I mean, they're smart for doing that.
I remember I had to shave my beard. I had a big, massive beard, and I had to shave it because like, well, if you lose your oxygen, we got to put this on you. If your beard's in the way, and I was like, fuck, I can't take that. It was like 2 years of growth. It was like,
I heard that shit could sometimes catch on fire. And I saw that on television. I was like, what the fuck? I said, I've had that on me and it never caught on fire, but supposedly it could catch on fire.
Yeah, I've never grown it back that big ever again. I'm too busy now worrying about coloring it every other week.
I don't care about coloring it, man. I don't give a shit about that.
I'm getting the transplant.
I'm growing in silver. I don't give a shit. Gray, whatever you want to call it. I don't care.
Yeah, mine's all gray. This I'm thinking of getting fixed.
What do you mean fixed?
Some fake hair. Where they
No.
start stitching that shit into your head from like
Man, don't do that, bro. Don't waste your money, bro. Seriously.
Get my Kenny Omega curls going.
I see
Omega
the guy,
shirt right there.
Dude, I seen an undercover guy I met a long time ago. And I would always talk to this guy.
Okay, cool.
Come to find out, he had a run the whole time. And there were snaps. So he put it on, snap, 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 snap. And it's on his head. And he looked like he had a full head of hair.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. Get one of the ones you glue on there, or just get where they shave your ass and they put it all over there or something,
I got plenty of that. I keep that just in case. You don't want to go to the can without a hairy ass.
No. Every month it's like, okay, we got to shave the back here. Get the shoulders.
Yeah. I have the lower back hair problem.
Yeah, I did the wax once, but for as long as it lasts and how bad it hurts, it ain't worth it, and what it costs.
Really? I'm thinking about getting a Brazilian gimmick. Really fucking. Because I'm tired of shaving. But I don't know if the pain's gonna be worse.
Yeah, I like having a little something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't have anything else to ask you. I mean, it's we've got New Year's coming up, so I want everybody to have a good New Year's, stay safe with the Omicron variant and all that shit out there.
Yeah, everybody have a good New Year, man. Have good drinks, good pussy, good smoke.
Yeah, the one you just told me, right?
Have a good time, man.
Yeah, okay.
No need to fight. Smile. Everybody be happy, man. Don't worry, be happy.
There you go. We'll be back next week.
Later.